On our anniversary, my boyfriend texted that he had to work late, then turned around and posted a selfie with his ex-girlfriend captioned, "Long time no see." Later, after we broke up, he said it was just a game and asked if I could please stop making a scene. So I slapped him, hard. Before we go any further, subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. It was past midnight. I leaned against the sofa and stared at Adrian's text, "Work emergency. Won't be back. Happy anniversary." I frowned, opened his Instagram, and, surprise, he'd forgotten to block me. 10 minutes earlier he'd posted a selfie with Josie captioned, "Long time no see." They were tucked together like puzzle pieces, his smile soft and nostalgic. A gorgeous couple, picture perfect. Josie is the ex he can't get over and the name I hate most. I'd convinced myself she was gone for good, that Adrian and I would make it to the finish line. Instead, I stared at the photo and laughed, no ache, no tears, not even for a second. Turns out, I don't love him anymore. Adrian and I had been casual classmates in college, he and Josie were the campus love story. Graduation day doubled as their breakup. Josie said he couldn't give her what she needed and flew overseas with the senior. I thought we'd never cross paths again, yet fate parked us in the same co-working space years later. He remembered me, invented reasons for lunch, sent thoughtful texts, checked in on my projects. I caught feelings fast. I cheered him on when he pitched the startup, rode every low beside him. One snowy night he showed up at the office door with roses, voice trembling, and asked if I'd be his. I whispered yes. For years later, there's been zero fireworks, only cold distance. Adrian never loved me. Moonlight spilled across the untouched dinner, silvering the plates until they looked frosted over. A memorable night indeed, for both of us. I locked my phone, glanced at the birthday cake whose candles were still burning, and blew them out. Then I scraped every cold dish, cake included, straight into the trash. I was done. Relief washed over me, exhaustion followed. All I wanted was to bury myself under the covers and sleep. Adrian and I broke up. He came home late that night, tiptoeing so gently he still woke me. He didn't flip the switch, just loomed in the dark. I pretended to sleep while his cool gaze pinned me, then watched his silhouette disappear into the bathroom. No water ran, only his hushed phone call leaked through the door. I still can't get over her, but I don't want to hurt Luna either. I don't know what to do. The silent treatment? We'll see. Gotta go. The line clicked dead. I clenched the sheets, tears streaking sideways into my hair. A few sentences from him still bulldoze my defenses. I've always played the underling. We both work, yet I track his blood sugar, cook bland food for his temperamental stomach, jump in front of whiskey shots at client dinners, leave the hallway lamp on no matter how late. He once joked that meeting me was cosmic cashback for good karma in a past life. When his mood drops, his brow knots, I apologize first, coax the crease away. My constant accommodation taught him he doesn't owe me, or this relationship, an ounce of respect. He won't even risk saying we're done, opting instead for silent treatment to force my hand. Maybe we were doomed from the start, or maybe we were just kids who didn't know better. Eventually the mattress dipped, we lay back to back. A canyon separated us, yet his body heat still radiated toward me. I used to creep into his arms. Tonight it felt invasive. For once, I slept in. My head throbbed as I padded to the mirror and slapped color into my cheeks. I sure didn't expect Adrian, who should have left for the office, to be camped on the couch, eyes pinned on me. His expression was calm, puzzled. I waited, he opened his mouth, then closed it. I turned away, annoyed, and gathered my things for work. He flinched. Gaze narrowing, but stayed quiet. The second the lock clicked, restraint snapped. He lunged, catching my wrist. "Luna, aren't you forgetting something?" I yanked free. "Nope. I've got a company to run." Hurt flickered across his face, he pressed on. "I can drive you. I'll Uber." He studied me, voice tentative. "About last night. I crashed early, dead to the world. Didn't even hear you come in." My ramble sounded shaky. I ducked out before he could answer. Outside, I gulped the morning air like oxygen. I hailed a ride to the startup Sophie and I co-founded and poured every neuron into client contracts. The company is still in its cradle, landing the next funding round means everything, so we grind non-stop. All day my phone stayed dark, Adrian officially rolling out the silent treatment. 14 days later the deal closed. Sophie lounged in the doorway, grinning. "Project signed, champagne chilled, yet you look like someone ran over your dog. Adrian drama again?" I shook my head. She dropped into the chair opposite and launched into the same 6-year sermon. "Sis, you played mom, dad, and nanny to that man since college. He checks every politeness box in public, but the dude's heart's got your name crossed out in red. Cut him loose. Plenty of fish, etc. Sophomore. I opened my eyes and cut her off, a sudden stitch burned in my chest. Truth, these 4 years Adrian flooded me with gifts, designer bags, first-class tickets, the dream house he paid for in full. Materially, he never held back. But compared with Josie's fire, Adrian and I had always been politely distant. He never really knew me, like the fact that I break out in hives from mango, that black is my color, that I hate dresses. I'd told Adrian all of it, and he forgot every single time. Every year my birthday box still held the same white sundress. I suddenly remembered the selfie from that night, and the Josie in my memory. Turns out those were the things she loved. These years I've lived in a fog, nothing Lee. Could the girl I used to be. I pushed myself up, grabbed my phone, and opened the chat thread with Adrian. Besides a handful of words in the last 2 weeks, the only new line was a text I hadn't answered. Our college club was throwing a party tonight, did I want to show? I never replied. I looked up at Sophie. Adrian says there's a party tonight? I stared, suspicious. Sophie lifted a brow. Yep. You've been grinding for 2 straight weeks. I figured you needed rest, so I didn't mention it. But word is Josie flew back yesterday, she'll probably be there. At the name Josie, Sophie's face soured. She'd loathed Josie since college, complained endlessly about her favorite trick, screw up, cry a little, and walk away spotless. Sophie, who lived on merit, couldn't stand the act. She pinched her chin, then slammed her palm on the desk, making me jump. Luna, the rightful queen is going tonight. We are not giving those ex-lovebirds room to rekindle. Dies melt for Josie's routine every damn time. Tonight we remind her who actually holds the title. The private dining room was packed when Sophie and I arrived. My hand froze on the door handle. A woman's laugh floated through, soft and flirty, Josie's unmistakable giggle. They must be swapping some hilarious story. Josie, after all these years you're still the sweetheart. I always rooted for you and Adrian, damn fate, messing with the perfect couple. The male voice wobbled, half drunk, loud enough for the whole pier to hear. No surprise it came from Leo, Adrian's best wingman. He'd scripted the recent silent treatment campaign and was apparently still stage managing the reunion. Josie played shy and conflicted, voice velvety fragile, don't joke. Adrian has a girlfriend now, but yes, I'll wait. Classic, remind Adrian the door's open while swearing she'd never jimmy the lock. Revolting. Adrian's pupils softened as he gazed at her. Leo kept the hype going. See how thoughtful Josie is? Nothing like Ice Queen over there. Adrian, chew. It's spacing, peel the lady some shrimp. Their cozy little act snapped something in me, my fists clenched, heat flooding my chest. Sophie lost it first, booted the door open, the crash silencing the room. Leo, what kind of garbage are you spouting? She dragged me inside, every head swiveled, eyes widening, faces icing over with awkwardness. Leo scratched his scalp, suddenly half sober. In the hush, Josie spoke first. Luna, you made it. Adrian said you hadn't answered, we thought you'd skip. Come sit. Right, Luna, someone chimed in, Leo's just drunk talk, ignore him. Josie beamed, stood, glided toward me, hand extended. I shifted just enough that her fingers closed on air. I smiled back, thin, icy, impeccably polite. Adrian? That familiar already? My tone carried blades, her cheek strained. She flicked a helpless gaze toward Adrian, eyes misting, lower lip trembling. He frowned, stepped to her side, gentle with her, then looked at me cold, fury disguised as calm. Luna, we're all classmates. Don't make a scene. Josie speaks her mind, that's all. Not intentional? I'd love to see the version that is. Adrian choked, unaccustomed to me spiking back. His brows knitted. Luna, cut it out. Josie and I are only friends, nothing more. You came, so why ghost my text? I wondered how he dredged up the gall. My glance brushed Josie's pristine white sundress fluttering like a fragile daisy, perfect, poisonous. Learned from the best. No apology, no explanation. Adrian's eyelids twitched, he glared, clearly boiling. I bypassed them, claimed the seat Josie had warmed beside Adrian. Sophie parked herself next to me. Normally I let things slide, tonight I barreled through, propriety be damned. The table exchanged puzzled looks, nobody daring a comment. Only Leo piped up, uneasy. That's Josie's spot. I lifted my eyes. Sitting with my boyfriend, problem? He sneered. You really stack up against Josie? Let it go, Josie interjected hurriedly, magnanimous and wronged. If Lou Nell wants it, she can have it. I don't mind. Sophie rubbed her arms like warding off slime. Wrong, Josie. Let her have it? Luna and Adrian are the real deal. Ex-girlfriend, why are you orbiting? Learn some distance. And remember, you dumped Adrian for that senior with a trust fund because Adrian was too broke. Now he's loaded and you're back? Shameless much? Leo, comparing Luna with Josie? Seriously? Josie doesn't rate. Look in the mirror, both of you. Leo shot to his feet, fists on the table, eyes bulging. You, gasped circled the room, dinnerware rattled. Everyone smelled fresh gossip. The golden couple's breakup had been a mystery, and now the ugly truth was headline news. Josie panicked, tears spilling, gazing up at Adrian, trembling. No, Adrian, I told you, my parents forced me. I said those things to protect you. Sophie rolled her eyes. Cry, 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 every crisis, same playbook. Adrian flashed Sophie a warning glare, cradled Josie's cheek, wiped her tears. I know, I know. Then, voice glacial, Sophie, for Luna's sake I'll let this slide, but don't ever speak about Josie like that again. She's not what you think. Sophie didn't just snap, she detonated. The private dining room, all velvet booths and low amber light, felt suddenly too small, as if someone had sucked the oxygen out and replaced it with kerosene. Sophie's chair scraped back, the shriek of wood on wood slicing through the lazy clink of ice in water glasses. Every head swiveled. I felt the hairs on my arms rise, the way they do right before lightning splits a summer sky. Adrian, you smug bastard, she began, voice trembling not from fear but from the effort of keeping her volume human. You honestly think I've stayed polite tonight for your sake? The only reason I haven't dragged you across this table is because Luna was sitting here, still trying to protect your worthless reputation. Well, guess what? Cordial hour is over. She planted both palms on the starched white linen, towering forward. Diamond studs catching the candlelight like flint. So let's make this festive, she purred, poisonous honey. Our anniversary, Caldwell. The night you swore you had a board emergency. Tell the room, no, tell Luna, where you really were. Tell her whose mouth you were busy kissing while she was blow-drying her hair in the bathroom, humming the song you said was ours. Sophie. Adrian's voice cracked like a whip, but the leather of his tone had already split, revealing raw pulp underneath. His gaze ricocheted to me, pupils wide, desperate. Luna, it wasn't, listen, that night, I smiled. I let the curve of it sit on my lips the way a butterfly rests on a thorn, delicate, deliberate, doomed. My pulse thudded behind my ears, slow, almost lazy. Asterisk, give me your fairy tale, Adrian. Try asterisk, he opened his mouth. Nothing arrived, just a faint click of enamel as his teeth met. The silence stretched, elastic and cruel, until it snapped against his ego. Across from me, Josie's manicure dug crescent moons into her napkin. The crimson of her nails bled into the white cloth, a private war. I felt her jealousy like a space heater pointed at my cheek, useless, oppressive. The club president lifted both hands, sweating cordiality. All right, everybody, let's cool it. We're here to celebrate midterm survival, okay? Sit, sit. Food's getting cold. Chairs shifted. A nervous waiter scurried to refill empty red wine glasses, the liquid glugging like distant thunder. I reached for the bottle myself, letting the burgundy ribbon out in a glossy arc. First pour, for Li Cheng, Adrian's best friend, the grinning broker of my misery. He accepted the wineglass as though it might bite him, Adam's apple bobbing. I rose. The hem of my silk blouse whispered against my jeans. I heard it because the room had fallen library still. President's right, I said, voice silky, let's be joyful. Toast number 1, to Li Cheng, who knows Adrian's heart better than I ever did. After all, when Josie waltzed back into town, he was the matchmaker generous enough to hand her my boyfriend's schedule, and generous enough to script the silent treatment that followed. A brittle clink. Li Cheng's throat worked once, twice, before the Cabernet disappeared. The dark wine stained his lips as though he'd licked a brush loaded with regret. I poured again, the ruby stream catching a sconce light, miniature constellations swirling inside the crystal. Toast 2, I declared, pivoting toward Josie. She wore her white sundress like armor, virginal, calculated. To the woman whose timing is as impeccable as her Instagram filter. Thank you for parachuting home precisely when I was busy designing the dream house blueprints. Without you, I might have wasted additional years on a man allergic to loyalty. I extended the wineglass. Josie's lashes quivered, tears beating like cheap pearls. Luna, she whispered, I never intended to hurt you. Adrian didn't betray you, not really. I gave a soft, breathy laugh. Intent is such a slippery eel, isn't it? Drink. She took the glass with trembling fingers, wine sloshing onto her knuckles, same color as the shame she should have felt, if she were capable. Adrian found his voice, rough, ruined. Luna, enough. He shot up, chair leg squealing protest. His fingers manacled my wrist, hot, possessive, panicked. This circus ends now. I peeled his hand away digit by digit, a dismantling, then raised the third glass to him. But we haven't toasted the guest of honor. My smile widened until the corners of my mouth ached. To Adrian, may you and your white sundress muse live happily ever after inside the ruin you built from my trust. I relinquish my role, someone else can audition to be your placeholder. The wine tasted of iron and cherries, of endings. I swallowed, never breaking eye contact. Adrian's lashes were damp, his plea fractured to shards. Luna, what exactly are you saying? I set the empty wineglass down with a gentle click that felt, to both of us, like a gavel. I am saying we're done. Goodbye, Adrian. The room exhaled as one organism. The club president's napkin slipped from his lap. Sophie's grin was all wolf. Later, Sophie text-bombed me the fallout, Josie sobbing in the Uber pool, Li Chong dumped by his mortified girlfriend, Adrian vanishing into the night like a ghost who knew the house had finally been exorcised. I checked into a boutique hotel downtown, all steel and sea salt aromatherapy. No tears arrived, just the hollow gong of hunger. I ordered pad thai, ate cross-legged on the king bed while winter rain freckled the windows. Relief tasted of fish sauce and tamarind, maybe it always would. Work became my oxygen. I reached the startup before the cleaning crew finished vacuuming, left after the janitor switched off the motion sensors. My interns exchanged worried glances, I ignored them. Code didn't betray you. Balance sheets didn't forget anniversaries. A week later, the parking lot was a slab of black ice under sodium lamps when I stepped out at 2 a.m. Adrian leaned against his Aston, silhouette haloed by breath and smoke. He stubbed a cigarette under his Oxford, the ember dying like a miniature sun. Stubble vandalized his jaw, his shirt, untucked and wrinkled, looked as defeated as he did. He stepped forward, arms half lifting, then dropping, an aborted pilgrimage. Luna, can we talk? His voice scraped like gravel under tire. I smelled burnt tobacco, night frost, and a ghost of the cedar cologne that once made me reckless. Fine. The corner CAF on 5th is still open. Inside, espresso steam fogged the windows, erasing the outside world. We chose a corner booth, the cracked vinyl side beneath us. He wrapped both palms around his mug as though seeking asylum in heat. I know you overheard my call to Sophie the other night, he started, eyes bloodshot maps. I never wanted to break up. The silent treatment, I swear, wasn't meant to hurt you. You'd grown distant. You stopped texting first, stopped brewing my favorite Ethiopian roast, stopped curling into me when the nights got cold. I kept lowering the thermostat, hoping you'd seek warmth. You never did. I listened, oddly fascinated, the way one watches a glass fall in slow motion, knowing shards are inevitable. I started seeing Josie because I needed proof you still cared, he confessed, knuckles whitening around porcelain. I needed to see jealousy color your cheeks. I thought if you fought for me, everything would reset. Bitterness coated my tongue thicker than espresso. Adrian, you still don't get it. This isn't about another woman, it's about your vacuum of effort. You never asked why I quit coffee, because acid reflux was shredding my stomach after too many skipped dinners. You never noticed those client contracts I chased till 3 a.m. while you binge-watched yacht reviews. And the white sundresses? I laughed, brittle. I'm allergic to polyester. After the first rash, you still ordered 3 more, because Josie modeled one on her feed. His chin dropped, shame pouring off him like steam. I'm not perfect, Luna, but I love you. I panicked. Let me fix this. I'll delete Josie from every channel, I'll sign over the dream house, just stop. I rose, heartbeat steady as GPS. Love isn't a PR crisis you spin. You wanted me small, needy, orbiting your convenience. That girl already died in our cold apartment, one silent night at a time. He grabbed my wrist again, weaker now. Please, I freed my hand, then delivered the clarity he deserved, an open-palmed crack that echoed off coffeehouse brick. Heads pivoted. A barista gasped. Adrian's tears arrived before sound, slipping down the red print of my fingers. Don't make me hate you more than I already do, I said softly. Then I stepped into the street, inhaled razor-cold air, and felt, for the first time in 2 years, the giddy lightness of a calendar unshared. Adrian didn't stop looking for me. I blocked every number and every account, so he stationed himself in front of the St. Art up, but he never managed to see me again. Then a string of digits I didn't recognize sent a photo and 4 words. Our home. It was the house he and I had picked out half a year ago, the dream house we were going to move into once we were married. I had hunted across the city alone until I found the one spot with the best view and the quietest streets. I still remember how serious he'd sounded. Luna, you stood by me through every rotten day. Finally, I can give you a home. The minute we get the keys, let's get married, okay? I said yes, and from that day on I counted the hours until the closing, until the proposal he promised. Now the people in the story have changed, and Adrian's trying to trade on old memories. Too late. I sat at my keyboard, typed, deleted, retyped, and finally hit send. I want the house. I don't want the home you offered. Stop haunting me. Then I blocked him again. He really did stop reaching out. Sophie and I went to dinner and ran into Josie. She looked a wreck. While Sophie headed to the restroom, Josie, pale as paper, set a cup of fruit tea in front of me. You're vicious, Luna, she hissed. You turned the whole class against me. You made Adrian cut me off. You wrecked the only love I've got. Apart from Adrian, Josie and I had barely shared 2 words. I didn't care about her tricks, and I couldn't be bothered to trade insults. I opened the file Sophie had sent me and let her see the screen. Josie's eyes went wide, her face went whiter. Josie had already been married once. She and the senior flew overseas right after graduation and tied the knot, but rich boys tire quickly. A few months ago he claimed he'd met the one and demanded a divorce. Josie fought it, gave in when the man and his new girl made life unbearable, signed the papers, and walked away with pocket change. That's why she slunk home. She glared at me. You had me investigated? I smiled and slid the fruit tea back toward her. Nope. Your ex flew back with his new wife. Aloo. Em and I talk, the story's all over. You latched onto Adrian again because he's rich now, because he could keep you in the life you're used to. The reason he won't look at you anymore, aside from me, is that truth. He can't stomach who you've become. Josie tried to protest. It's not like that. I really love him, Luna. You don't know what it's like growing up dirt poor. I never want to go back. I nodded. I get it. Maybe you should march over and swear your undying love. He's carried a torch for you for years, he'll probably take you back. Josie did get his forgiveness, the two of them played happy couple in public. Adrian strode back into the game, king of the castle, while we started losing client contracts. After a lot of digging we pinned it on him, he'd undercut us and stolen 2 major deals. I called. He answered with the same gentle laugh I once loved. Ching ching, I know your little startup is just finding its legs, and this must sting. Business is war, sorry. What do you want? His voice dropped. Luna, you already know. Oh, please. You've got Josie now. Ching ching, she's a placeholder. I can send her packing anytime. The arrogance was almost funny. Adrian, I never realized I meant that much to you. You ditched your white moon crush and blew a pile of cash. Fine, let's play. The line went quiet. Adrian's pride is bottomless. After all these years he still has no clue who I am. I hung up. He didn't retreat, he doubled down. But after that call Josie vanished from his socials, and word came that he'd cut her loose. No tantrum of hers could change it. I sat in my office and stared at the monitor. Every contact in my phone came from dinners I'd attended at Adrian's side. They're his clients on paper, but I've kept the relationships alive. Plenty of them signed with Caldwell because of me. They say Adrian's brilliant but reckless, that he breaks rules for sport, poison in this world. They praise my patience, my steadiness, they say Caldwell suits me better. I used T. Oh, laugh it off. I never thought we'd end up here. I hesitated, then started dialing. He poaches mine, I poach his. Some wavered. After all, a fledgling outfit can't match Caldwell's name, but sweeter terms pulled them over. As expected, Adrian felt the ground shake. He rang nonstop. I let every call rot. Losing clients and swallowing loss leader deals should teach him the lesson. Adrian lost control. The board was furious at the circus, and Josie, bitter, scorned, climbed into the bed of the director who's always hated him. She's the man's new pet now, and she spilled every secret Adrian ever trusted her with. Sophie recounted the gossip and I laughed like it was a sitcom. Still, stripped of his chairman title, he owns enough shares to stay filthy rich for life. Winter arrived. On my birthday a courier handed me an anonymous box, a stock transfer deed and a text. I thought it over and couldn't come up with a gift. These shares are the only proof we once stood on the same side. They belong with you, Luna. This winter is brutal, like your heart, it freezes the air out of me. Happy birthday. Stay happy forever. I felt nothing. Then I remembered, we met on this same day, another birthday. A delivery guy had shown up with my birthday cake, but my roommate locked the door by mistake. The dorm alarm shrieked, smoke poured in. Rescuers burst through, Adrian among them. He carried me out like some hero stepping out of the flames. When we reached safety he set me down, saw the cake in the delivery guy's hand, and said, "Happy birthday." I'll never forget the look on his face, soft as wind. That was the moment I fell, and I kept falling. I followed his life like a devoted ghost. The day I finally worked up the nerve to confess, I saw him walk by with Josie, so I buried the feeling. I dropped the deed into the trash, cradled a cup of bubble tea, and watched the snow swirl against the glass. The world keeps shifting, even the fiercest heart can calcify into winter. This winter is brew. Hell.